grade today. I'm Miss Irish. Together, we will discover and explore Science 8. But before we start, may I request all of you to prepare your pen, paper, and weekly learning activity sheet for you to be guided on our lesson today. Are you ready? Let's start! This time, I will be showing you a video clip, and I want you to observe on what is shown in the video. Based on the video, what do you think is our topic for this episode? Very good! Today, we will discuss about the Newton's 3 laws of motion. The 3 laws of motion includes 1. Law of inertia, 2. Law of acceleration, 3. Law of action-reaction. For you to understand more on the 3 laws of motion, I have here an activity. Look at this pen. What do you think is the reason why it keeps hanging? How about this book? Is it perfectly balanced? What made them so? To answer the question earlier, let's talk about force and motion. We saw earlier that pen was hanging, right? The reason for that is the tension force that came from the thread was pulling the pen up, while the gravitational force is pulling the pen down. As a result, the pen was perfectly balanced. On the other hand, the force that keeps the book balanced is a normal force acted upon on a book, and the gravitational force acted upon the table. Let's take a look at this image below. What did you notice? Unlike the examples earlier, this image demonstrates the unbalanced force. An unbalanced force is the forces that cause a change in the motion of an object. It is not equal and in the opposite direction. Thus, the child and the apple were in the opposite directions. To deepen the understanding about balanced and unbalanced forces, please prepare the following materials: 5 pieces uniform coin currency, empty glass, ruler, and any paper that can carry coin. Now that the materials we needed are ready, let's go ahead and proceed with the activity. You did great! Did you have fun? We're already done with the activity together. The activity we just performed exhibits the first law of motion, which is the law of inertia. The law of inertia states that the object at rest will remain at rest and the object in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon the external forces. On the coin drop activity, the coin that stays on the top of the cardboard is initially at rest. The moment you flick the cardboard away, the coin dropped at the bottom of the glass. Take note that the force you applied from flicking the cardboard is considered as the external force that changed the motion of the coin. Do you think the stack of coin activity also demonstrates the law of inertia? Well, you're right. Having the same concept applied with the coin drop activity, both of them perfectly demonstrates law of inertia. But how about our daily life? Do you think the law of inertia exists? Certainly, They do. How and where? There's this one common example that we all could see every day. The seatbelts worn by our local cab drivers when we commute. Since we already understood the Newton's first law, let's now proceed with the second law, the law of acceleration. Let's take a look at these tables. Then, try to understand the relationship between these three: force, mass, and acceleration. How do you describe the relationship between mass and acceleration? Is the mass directly proportional to its acceleration, or is it inversely proportional? Really? That's a great observation. That's right. The mass is inversely proportional to the acceleration, where the force remains constant. But how about the relationship between force and acceleration? That's once again true. Unlike mass and acceleration, force and acceleration are directly proportional to one another, wherein the mass remains constant. Thus, in summation, the law of acceleration can be expressed using this formula: F equals ma, where F is the force, m is the mass, and a is the acceleration. Did you see that person skating? Would you believe that what he's doing for fun is actually explaining Newton's third and final law? Unbelievable, isn't it? Well, let me introduce you to our third law, the law of action-reaction. This law states that for every action, there is an equal but opposite reaction. Now, back to the video clip you saw previously. You now agree with me that skating demonstrates the Newton's third law of motion, right? That's awesome! Then how about walking? If you happen to nod in agreement, then let me give you a virtual high five. The action is, when the feet push the ground, its equal but opposite reaction is the ground pushes our feet back. For me to find out if you really understand our lesson for today, we will have a quiz time. Number 1. Which law states that for every action, there is an equal but opposite reaction? A. Law of inertia. B. Law of acceleration. C. Law of action-reaction. D. Law of universal gravitation. And the correct answer is C. Law of action-reaction. Number 2. From the equation F is equal to ma, what is the relationship between force and acceleration if the mass remains constant? A. Equal. B. Remain constant. C. Directly proportional. D. Inversely proportional. And the correct answer is C. Directly proportional. 3. Which of the three Newton's law of motion demonstrated by coin drop and stack of coins activity? A. Law of inertia. B. Law of acceleration. C. Law of action-reaction. D. Law of universal gravitation. And the correct answer is A. Law of inertia. 4. A bag lies on top of a table. Which of the following statement correctly describes the situation? A. The bag exerts no force on the table. B. There are no forces acting on the bag. C. The bag is absolutely at rest in any reference frame. D. There are many forces acting on the bag, but they balance each other. And the correct answer is C. The bag is absolutely at rest in any reference frame. 5. Which of the following illustrates Newton's third law of motion? A. Doing the laundry. B. Wearing a seatbelt. C. A book lying on a table. D. The flying motion of the bird. And the correct answer is D. The flying motion of the bird. Did you get the perfect 5? Very good. How about 4? 3, 2, and 1. Whether your score is high or low, well, it doesn't matter. The most important is that you listen and you learned something today. If you still have any questions or clarifications, you can review this video or you may ask your grade 8 science teacher. This is Miss Irish. See you again in our next episode as we enjoy and explore the beauty of science. Always remember, hashtag stay safe. This is BXU Science TV.